Well, everyone, if there isn't everyone here, let's see if there's anyone actually shows up here. I found out as I was getting ready to post on Mr. Thrive and Survive that I got another community guideline strike. So let's see if anybody actually got the notification to come over here. Yeah, there's 6 people here. So we have a new rule. I don't want to talk about COVID or any medical issues going on because that's what the strike was about. It was from 2 or 3 videos ago. And I don't want to see it in the comments, please. All right. So we've been very careful and they still are doing it. So they must be doing it from either slip ups by me or people that are in the comment section slipping up. God forbid you have any kind of freaking different idea than the government has. Anyway, with that being said, oh, we lost 2 people. See, I started out with a rant. That's not a good thing. So I'm going to give it a few minutes. Hello, Rolos. I just can't believe it. And I needed Mr. Thrive and Survive because there's a video I had to post there. Anyway, hope you're doing well, Rolos. And this is what you got, how I'm dressed tonight. I'm just working too hard to fix stuff. Hello, Mark Harris. Hello, hello. We're going to cover a little CNN mischief that most of you have seen. Evidently, even Paulster thinks we can trust the mainstream media. And that last video where we showed the body bags and the one guy moving, and you can't find where it originally came from because Facebook has conveniently deleted the source link for it. But I don't think I have that up here. This is what tells me it was mainstream media. One, even though it was covered over, and I said in the video very clearly, I don't know what the source is, but it's been used at least twice. It was used during COVID and it was used during something else. So I don't know how many times it's been used. Could have been used 5 dozen times. I don't care. It's a lie. Whenever it first came out, it was a lie. You don't stage something that big, somebody that's amateur, where you have dozens and dozens of people in body bags. That's what it looked like anyway. And you have a professional microphone with a reporter. And at the bottom, this is what amateurs generally do not have. You don't have the bottom third going live. Now, I know it was whoever faked it the last time put on top their stuff, but you could see in the lower left-hand corner a red alert, part of that anyway, that was covered over by an overlay that somebody faked it after that. So to me, that was quite professional. It was mainstream media. And in case, I just can't believe the thickness in my mind of the skull to believe these idiots who are paid to give you disinformation, especially in the entire Western world. You can't trust any of the U.S. media. You can't trust the BBC or Sky News over there. You can't trust it. It's bullcrap. It's propaganda bullcrap. And all these media sources, since they have radio, have been used as propaganda by everyone. Hitler used it famously when they were surrounded and defeated at Stalingrad, Christmas that year, Christmas 1942. Achtung, Stalingrad. You hear the cracking of the radio. And then they come back, Achtung, or whatever. They start talking, just like they're talking to somebody in Stalingrad. They were talking to nobody in Stalingrad. Stalingrad was cut off completely, totally surrounded, starving. Hello, Mark Harris, Alan Bacon, Vintage. Hello, hello, Michael B. We got 21 people here. So let's go to something famous. If I can find, I got several of these open because it takes, they've taken down several. I got a warning for even pulling this up. They just want to cover the bull crap. Let's see which one this one. I don't, okay. Alrighty, let's see. Let's look at this. Anybody remember this? And I can't find the whole thing, which shows clearly at the end that they're where they are, and I'm going to explain that. I just can't believe it. I just cannot believe that people think they're getting the truth from the mainstream media. It blows me away. Well, as you can see, I haven't shaved. Should I go back to a goatee? No, I'm not going to. Anna the Nevasliva, hello. Oh man, sorry to hear that. Running around a bit. My husband and son are sick, and I'm trying to feed them and not go around them. Too late for that, Anna. You know, there's something about caregivers. I think God protects caregivers a lot. Now, if you're going to get sick, generally it's after they get well. Hello, Michael B. If I didn't see you already. All right, so let me share this. As a reminder, you'll see, most of you people will get this. You're the right age, most people here. You'll, as soon as you see this. Remember this. Remember this. See on the screen what it says? CNN Live, Saudi Arabia. I'm going to mute my microphone because you need to hear what's going on in the background, because that adds to the ambiance greatly of this video. So let me mute my microphone. Here we go. Hello, Randy and Stanley. Good to see
you. We're not quite sure. We can't show you anything else than what we're seeing right now because of military regulations. We're not allowed to show you where the missiles might be going. Watch understanding the sky is something else coming in, but right now we can't see much of anything, and frankly this is what we can show you on television right now because of military restrictions from both the Saudis and the U.S.
CD, if you need to take cover, I notice that you've got your gas mask in your hands. If you need to put it on, please do so. If you need to take cover.
Explosion of cloud, a white city. What did you see? How busy? You take it. Okay. Charles Jaco, CNN, reporting live from Saudi Arabia. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at it.
Believe that. Let me say hi.
The top 10 things about Saudi Arabia. Maybe we could shorten the list to 5.
Oh God, Geopolitics by Dan Quayle.
Je suis un journaliste américain. Woof. Woof. All clear. Every time I order something, this happens. All clear. Thank you.
You guys remember that? As it turns out, and good luck finding it now, the end, where it clearly shows they have set up a studio on the roof of CNN. And they later, my understanding is they later admitted it. You get bull crap live from Saudi Arabia. It's just, I'm getting to the point where I'm about ready to stop entertaining any kind of response to anything that, first of all, it's Polster's making a big deal that I don't have a link to prove it was mainstream media lying. Mainstream media lies. You don't believe that? Don't come here, because then you're saying I'm lying. So just leave. Yeah, it's actually DCM. That was in Saudi Arabia, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. But many of you guys remember that. But guess what? The footage at the end, and I got it. Like I said, I actually got a warning when I pulled it up about misinformation. It was like, yeah, definitely it's misinformation, but it went off so fast, I couldn't see what it was all about. So how many times Does someone have to lie before you don't trust them? Now, if you have somebody on a witness stand and it doesn't matter what side, you're prosecutor, defense, attorney, you can prove they lied even once in the story, just once. That person has lost 100% credibility, and a jury won't believe them. That's a fact. 99% of the time, a jury will not believe them. Oh, yeah, I lied about that, but now I'm telling the truth. All attorney has to say is, how do we know you're telling the truth now if you lied earlier? It's like in the ISS, which Polster says he's gone through it all. There's nothing fake about it. Give me a stinking break. You got the guy floating past on a harness. You got a guy becoming transparent. You have a guy when George H.W. Bush is being pushed through NASA, and they have a screen with the guy with the green screen thing behind him. And he's not on Earth, supposedly, because he's got a ball levitating in the air that he's playing with. Have you ever seen that green screen, the one with the crosses, the white crosses? You ever seen that on the ISS? And why in the hell would they have it on there? Oh, I've heard the explanation. Because what he's doing with the ball, he needs to precision tell how it reacts to what he's doing to it. It's like, give me a stinking break. Do you see how big the grid is? The grid is made for green screen. It's not made for precision. One time. That's all you have to do is catch him one time. Lying to you. Or how about the ISS showing you never saw stars in the sky. Never saw stars in the sky from the ISS. All of a sudden, when they show up, and when they first showed up, they didn't have the different layers right because you could see through the Earth and see stars on the other side of the solid Earth. And they'll come up with an excuse with that too. It blows me away. Kamel explained it all in kindergarten. I'm done with people that can't think. That's what it is. They refuse to think outside of the box that they've been programmed into. They're stuck in a freaking matrix that the controllers have put them in, and they don't want to see a way out. But yet we're watched all the time. You'll watch us. Other people will watch us. Do you kind of think maybe, why do they watch us? What is in it for them? If they're so freaking secure in their reality of the universe and reality of what we are presented with, and that we're not indoctrinated whatsoever, why the hell do you watch me? Because you're not going to get that from me. You're going to get reality the way it is, whether you like it or not. When you can see mountains 200 and some miles away, when they should be hidden by the Earth, or when you can't demonstrate the Earth will curve and gravity will hold it in a convex matter, just out in the open. Oh, but they'll show you a drop of water on a freaking leaf. These people are morons. They're absolute stinking morons. The ocean is not sitting on a leaf, and it's not one drop. The hair looks good, but the hair dye is too much. No hair dye. None. I'm waiting. Look, no, I can't show you. It's about 50-50 gray black in the beard, but it just not up top yet. There's about 1% up top. That's gray. Hair dye. At least you think it's real. Digital death. I wouldn't even know how to dye hair. Isn't that where you have to like the women when they dye it, they put on this crappy smelling stuff forever, and they sit there with it, and then they wash it out, and it's a different color. No thanks. Plus, I wouldn't want, it's peroxide, right? I wouldn't want that in my head. Thank you, Stanley. Show some love. Hit the thumbs up. We got 33 people here. So I've got a strike. So I didn't even get notified this time. It was from the video where I was showing Teeth of the Lamb, where he showed a video where he got the crescent moon right when the moon was higher. That was hit on too. All it was a demonstration. I didn't say, oh, that's how it has to work. I'm looking for more. Thank you, Michael. Charlie is I don't know. He has good days and bad days. Today isn't the greatest day. He's laying in front of me, and he usually gets excited even when he's sick to go to the park, but he didn't want to go today. So we'll see. I think every other day he gets prednisone for his nerves, and then the day after that he's better. Mark Harris, over the black imposter a long time ago, has never brought anything to the table. Well, Mark Harris, I get you, Mark. My thing though is, as long as you're respectful, it's okay. I'm just tired of answering stuff that it's making a big deal out of what I said about that video. Is that video still there? Let's see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me pull it up. Oh, yeah. Here it is. It's the last video. There we go. Come on. Actually, it says something hour. Anyway, let's take a look at this. And let's consider the production cost that an amateur would have to pay for this. See, this is using your brain to see, is the reality you're seeing real? Not, oh, does this confirm my bias? That's not how you look at stuff, but that's how I think Pollster looks at stuff. Or that would go against my bias, so that's not true. Look at this. It's not the best picture of the microphone, but it is a pro microphone. Look at the people let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24. Not quite as many as the next row, maybe one short, but they're packed together more. 36. There's 48 people in body bags that I can see. Besides the one that's waking up behind this guy's shoulder here on the left side of the screen. Do you see it's Ukrainian Health Ministry, 57 dead, hurt, blah, 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 blah. That is somebody who put that over top of the other thing. See that AUER? That's probably the last name of this guy or whatever. This is a professional production, in my opinion. If I went live, I wouldn't have a lower third going. I just wouldn't. That's put on usually by a studio. This is not some amateur out there, in my opinion, trying to make some kind of fake statement. How much did he have to pay all these people to do that? How much did the body bags cost? How much did the professional microphone? And it's definitely a professional camera. That is good quality. How much did all that cost? And why did Facebook hide the original link? Because you can't figure it out. They don't want you to figure it out. Rich, that person unzipped their bag and started moving around, and then somebody runs. I'll show you. I will show you. The guy starts talking. I don't know what he says. It's not in English. Now you tell me this is amateur or not. Just look at the production. I'm going to mute it. Well, you guys are going to hear it anyway, but I won't. So anyway, it doesn't matter what he's saying. There's another thing. I've seen two people with the same yellow top, the yellow jumper outer top here with their cameras. That is coordinated to me. Two different people, amateurs, show up with the same jacket. See the guy on the right here? He shows up more earlier. So that's that. Not amateur. Not by any evidence I see there. Yeah, the guy in the body bag, he moved all over the place. And then eventually in that video, somebody runs up and I guess tells him, no, it's not time to get back in that bag. DCM, I think Putin walked into a trap. Should have just taken care of the labs, business and out. Mission. It's not just the labs, though, DCM. It's not just the labs. We have so infiltrated Ukraine. There is a video. It's long. I haven't watched it yet. But my son, the one who's not really awake, the one who is pretty much believes the narrative, he's coming around. He sends me this video. Found a good video on Ukraine, Russia that was anti-West. Feel I have much better understanding now. Very good presentation. And this is from 2016. If I can get it to load. Oh my God, I bet they took it down. Maybe they did. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it to work. I'll give you the title as soon as I pop it in here. Good news today. Baseball's back. Why is Ukraine the West's fault? Featuring John Merishmeyer, University of Chicago. And he's got a degree in political science. Oh, he's got another video called The Great Delusion. I think I like this guy. So if my son can be turned around on Ukraine and what he hears in mainstream media, it must be a good presentation. And the West is the one that has screwed up Ukraine. No doubt about it. Zipped his arm zipped his own body back. Now they're putting us on, huh, Danny? Yeah, Rich brings a new meaning to the word lie, L-I-E down. Very good. Oh, yeah, Danny. Thank you for that. Yeah. Let me search for that. Remember that? Do you remember that, guys? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Talk about fake. This was a big one, too. This was a big one. We're going to watch this together. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Danny. Let's take a look at this. This is what was happening in Syria. ABC News, the second most trusted name in news. Slaughter in Syria footage. Slaughter in Syria footage. New developments, crisis in Syria. ISIS prisoners escape as death toll rises in attacks. Ooh, what a title. They pay people a lot. Trust me, guys, they pay people a lot of money for those titles. I've been in marketing for a long time. Those are good titles. Indeed. All right. I'm going to mute my microphone because I want to listen to it too. So hold on.
This video, obtained by ABC News, appears to show the fury of the Turkish attack on the border town of Tel Aviv.
Tonight, the expanding march of war in Syria, growing reports of atrocities, Turkish fighters accused of public executions, a border town bombarded by Turkey's military. Situation rapidly spiraling out of control in northern Syria. 1 week since President Trump ordered U.S. forces out of that region, effectively abandoning America's allies in the fight against ISIS. This video right here appearing to show Turkey's military bombing Kurd civilians in a Syrian border town. The Kurds who fought alongside the U.S. against ISIS. Now, horrific reports of atrocities committed by Turkish-backed fighters on those very allies.
What you see there is the actual footage from a Kentucky gun range. All they did was make it look like it was farther away. They match perfectly. Perfectly. This was all. See what Trump did? See what Trump did? He pulled them out early. And now look what the atrocity that happened. That's now fool me twice, shame on me if I believe it. Yep, vintage. They have lied about Syria for years now, and Iraq and Iran and just about everything else in the Middle East. You know who? There's one country currently in the Middle East who has never had an offensive gone on the offense and had an offensive war against somebody else. It's not Israel. No, definitely not them. You can barely go a year without that happening. It's Iran. And who's the big boogeyman over there? Guess who didn't want a central bank? Iran. As far as I know, they don't have a central bank. Let's find out. Does Iran have a central bank? These connections are easy. The Central Bank of Iran, also known as Bank Marzaki, officially the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. It's their own central bank. It's not a Rothschild-owned central bank. But I suppose what we just saw wasn't really from a Kentucky gun range. Holster, don't write me and say, no, that's not true because you didn't provide a link or whatever. This has been verified. In fact, didn't ABC apologize? They did, didn't they? Because they got caught. Otherwise, you wouldn't hear any apologies. Let's see. ABC apology for Syria attack footage. This is from the New York Times. I got to share it so Paulster can see it's real. Okay, let's do it. Let's do this. All you have to do is get rid of your freaking bias and learn a thing or two about what's going on in the world. NYTimes.com. That's New York Times, Polster. ABC apologizes for showing video from U.S. gun range. ABC apologizes for showing video from U.S. gun range in report on Syria. The video also appeared in a report on Turkish attacks in northern Syria. ABC apologizes for video wrongly said to be from Syria. That's from ABCnews.com themselves. And they only apologized because they got caught. They got caught. How many times are we seeing stuff from these evil people and they don't ever say a word? It took Project Veritas, one video to show that Zuckerberg of CNN was purposely lying about certain things, telling them what to report, what to say about Trump, what not to say. The source was Zuckerberg, the CEO of CNN, called on Project Veritas. CNN got caught again, body bags moving around. I don't know if that started from, I don't know where that started, Carbide, if you're referring to what I showed. I can't say it was CNN. I have no idea. All I know is it looks professional to me. If it looks professional, if the mic looks professional, the guy looked professional. It took a lot of money. The camera looked very, very professional. That's like 4K material. Of course, I can show it with a 4K camera. But there's a lower third on it that someone covered over, granted. That looks professional. It took a lot of money, in my opinion, to get all those people to participate in that. Unless they got 50 or 60 volunteers to play dead. I guess they could have. But somebody had to buy all those body bags, too. It's time to wake up. I'm tired of trying to wake people up. You're either with us or you're not. You're with us or against us. Those who are not for us are against us. Those stuck in the freaking matrix of believing everything they see is real, including stupid space crap. Well, we spend, they're happy that we have spent over $1 trillion. That's just the US. And we got nothing out of it. Zero. No new technology. Nothing. No new medical breakthroughs. Nothing they couldn't have done here. Nothing at all. We got supposedly how to wash your hair in space, how to play with bubbles, how to make toys appear out of nothing. That's not layer technology, Polster. How in the hell did they do it if it's not layer technology? The toy wasn't there. Ring! There's the toy. She reaches up and grabs it. Which means it was there the whole time. All they had to do was turn on a layer. There it is. That's exactly what they did. I've been editing long enough to know how it's done. And when you have people go back in the ISS to go down a tunnel and they start to become translucent, that's an error in your layering as well. You've got a person literally fading out. And when they don't turn on a layer, you get people floating by in a harness. Oh, but they do that all the time. Yeah, they do. What the freak are they doing it for? Why would you just lay in a harness and float by? You don't need to lay in a harness. In fact, now that it dawns on me, you're in zero gravity. Why is he down on the harness, laying on the harness? That's a layer not turned on. That's what that is. How many videos do you have to see where there's wires behind the people pulling out their shirt or their pants? It comes down to, what do you think, our IQ is 75? Forrest Gump? Is that what you think? I'm starting to think the IQs are the other way. You might be smart in one way, but you're so blinded to the matrix that you're in that your IQ literally is in the 70s with everything else. Just blindly accepting everything. When you should be investigating everything. That's what science used to do. It used to investigate and prove. Now it's all, let's prove it with mathematics. And you can't prove a rising helium balloon with 9.8 meters per second squared. Can't do it. And don't give me the BS that the air around it is pulling down harder. Whoever said that before. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. Air is displaced by the balloon going up, not being pulled down around it. Just like a boat going in the water displaces the water down and around to the sides. Balloon going up, same thing, it's just up and around. It's not being pulled down. And there's no way to explain why a helium balloon will accelerate faster at the Earth's surface than farther away without density. There's no way to do it. No stinking way to. You can come up with bull crap, and they do, but there's no other way to explain it. Eric Dubay has presented a formula that works perfectly. It's a positive or a negative number. If it's a negative number, the object will rise in the atmosphere. And think about something else too. And I know this is getting into a hypothetical, but we're on the bottom layer, right? Let's just say our abode was in the clouds for whatever reason. In the highest clouds. For whatever reason, that was where our abode was. Wouldn't we see objects that came up to us as the way the force was going? Not gravity. But if a helium balloon or a hot air balloon came up to us, let's say one of the upper reaches of the atmosphere, it's only going to go. The only thing is things are, well, I guess things could fall. But if our density was such that we were in the upper atmosphere, we'd be seeing other stuff coming up. We might have a totally different perspective on it. Just a theoretical thought. Hello, DMB. Carbide guys dropping screws on the floor and no gravity. LOL, morons love NASA. It's incredible. And there are literally websites dedicated that people have put up and dedicated to getting more money for NASA. Do you think the poor could have used that trillion that we spent getting nothing in return? Hello, Veet. Good to see you. So we got the BSOR, BS on rye, all around us. Bull crap. Trying to find something here. As I said before, we're going to have a night where I go over tithing scriptures that I was sent. Let me see how many scriptures there were. Something else I should have done today. Guys, I don't have enough time in the day. I don't know what I did. I don't know how I did it when I was working and had 5 kids. Let's see. Here we go. Wow. All right. There's like 15, 16 scriptures. So, well, I thought maybe it was just a few. Some are not relevant, but I will cover all that. I indeed will. So anything on anybody else's mind now that I started off with a rant? I guess my mood was set properly when I got when I found out when I tried to post this, it said Mr. Thrive and Survive has channel strike and you can't do it. So again, if you just joined us, we don't talk about anything medical, period. Not in the chat. I don't talk about it. Because evidently the slightest thing, and you have to ask the question why on that too. You have to ask the question why. Yes, Veet, that's what happened. So at least 2 weeks, I won't be on that channel. Thank God for the backup channel, huh? So yeah, the moderators that are here, if you see people posting something about, you know what, medical news lately, please remind them that we can't do that because we are living in Pravdaville, you know, the Russian, or even better, we're living in Joseph Goebbelsville. And anything we can't talk about, what does that tell you? Can you use your stinking brain for that? Why can't you talk about a certain subject or certain subjects in a free and open society, supposedly free and open society? Why does the narrative need to be controlled? You don't need to control the narrative if the narrative is true. You don't need to control it. Truth is truth. That's right, Carbide. It's just BS. It's all it is. It was just, I'm not even going to say it, but yeah. DB, do they know you're a meteorologist? That's right. Don't they know it? It's just nutsoid. Nuts. So let's see, where are we here? 41 minutes into it. That's right, for our safety. That's what it is, because you don't want misinformation. You definitely don't want misinformation. And if it's not coming from government approved agencies, then that's exactly what it is. It's misinformation. Remember when the press secretary for Biden came out and said, was asking social media to take down people that were spreading medical misinformation that didn't agree with the White House. How many people saw Biden's speech? I guess it was today. It was either today or yesterday, where he was talking about inflation. It's all Putin's fault. If it wasn't for Putin, we wouldn't have inflation. But the guy was he's so demented. He could barely finish. It's the worst I've seen him. He couldn't finish a sentence. He didn't know halfway through a sentence what subject he was talking about. He'd stop because he didn't know. And some of his answers to his questions or whatever didn't even pertain to what the question was. It was bad. Winter storm watch vintage. Yeah, I guess it's still winter, isn't it? Still got about 10 days. That's right, Rolos. Come on, man. Give me a break. Oh, and he said it again. I'm serious. It's not a joke. I'm not kidding. He said he's lowering the deficit by $1 trillion. You talk about lies. He comes out and says he's lowered the federal deficit by $600 billion. How do you spend more than you've ever spent in your life? You haven't collected it because people have been laid off, or a lot of people aren't working because of certain things that happened in the last 2 years. How do you lower the budget when you spend more and you're getting less in? It's just flat out 100% lies. And you have the media, because it's the party, the media wants in there. They won't even throw up a question. I don't understand the math here. The other side likes to use math a lot. I don't understand the math. Your revenues are down, and you were in a deficit to start with before the revenues went down. And you spent trillions more during the same fiscal year while your revenues were down via last year and the year before. So how do you lower the budget that way? You know how the Democrats lower the budget? Here's how they do it. I'm just throwing numbers out there just so you'll see how it works. We're going to spend $2 trillion, and in the end, they only spend $1.5 trillion. So they lowered the budget. This is Democrat. They lowered the budget by $500 billion. They saved $500 billion for the American people. That's how Democrats lower the budget. He is close. Biden is close to being non-comprehensible. And what about Harris and Poland? Oh, Harry, you didn't know that, by the way? Kamala Harris is going to go over and fix the whole mess. Oh, she's probably in Poland and doesn't even understand where she's at. And he says they also passed a Ukrainian aid bill today that includes banning gun braces and 80% lowers for U.S. citizens. I don't know what that means, Danny. Is that a mistype? They also passed a Ukrainian bill today that includes banning gun braces, and 80% lower for U.S. citizens. I don't get it there. And we're getting our typical swing. You know, this is time to swing back to the conservatives. So the Democrats are imploding right on time. So the Republicans will take over the House and the Senate, but they'll be just shy of getting override. I mean, being able to override a veto. Watch it. Watch. Even if it's by 1 or 2 votes, they'll be just shy. And people will be like, now all we have to do is get a Republican president in. Give me a break. Come on, man. I don't even know if this country may look way different by 2024. We're starting to get runaway inflation. Now, the government said it's just under 8%, 7.9, 8%, which means it's really, according to Shadow Stats, not Shadow Stats. Is that what it is? Maybe it is Shadow Stats. Which means we're at least double that. We're at least 16%, probably, maybe close to triple that. Yeah, shadowstatistics.com. I can't remember the guy that runs it. Good guy. He knows his economics. He runs it the way they used to before they said, oh, well, steak went from $4 a pound to $8 a pound. So the American people won't buy the steak anymore. We pull that out of the mix. They'll only buy hamburger now. So it actually went down by $1 or $2. That's how they offset it. It's such a crock. You're lied to about that too. And the government admits that's what they do. They admit it. Yes, we use substitution. We figure once it gets to a certain price, people won't buy it, so it'll get something cheaper. Can't afford the hamburger, then it's hot dogs. Can't afford the hot dogs, then who knows what it is? Chicken. 8% lower receivers are unfinished receivers for AR's ghost guns. And of course, they got everybody thinking AR stands for assault rifle when there is no such thing. I still don't quite understand it, Danny, but from that corn pop to kick Biden's. Not the Q you were hoping for. But the Patriots are in complete control. I mean, I'm in the mood. I'm in a bad mood already. So let's go to X22 report and see what the latest update is. See what was supposed to happen all along, right? Oh, God, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Apply the Keystone. Rig for red. The first salvo of information has just been fired. Are you kidding me? Failure. Unsealing of the first several indictments will bring about unity. What indictments? It'll bring about unity. Sure it will. Oh. Bye-bye. That's right. The White House will save us. William Tell overture. Here comes the cavalry. Not the Q is what the top pick is. Well, Truth Social. Oh, really? Not the shirt shot heard around the world. I have no intention of going to Truth Social. None. Absolutely none. I think Foster may run the X22 website. No, I don't think I definitely don't think he's running that. But interesting theory, Mark. No, he can't go there. He wouldn't go there because that's not mainstream. Like I said, there is no doubt about us, or there's no doubt about it. None. Trump and Q thing, they're connected. Absolutely. But it doesn't mean they're doing SWAT just because they're connected. Trump was also anti-something as he was running for president. And then he became pro-something. I don't know what, but. Paul Crane, light side versus dark side, two sides of the same coin. Absolutely. Deeper. And I've thought that through so deep, Paul. And it really, it's all of us. We're all both sides of the same coin. We're all good and evil mixed. And has been since the fall of man. And some are more good than evil. That's why certain people I think are white hats, but they still have some evil in them, and they still can be bought off by the dark side or scared off, whatever. Family members threatened. As long as you have the mainstream media lying about everything and setting the narrative about everything and gaslighting about everything, people aren't going to wake up because too many people think that is gospel. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist, sick, SIC, no pun intended. It doesn't take a riot scientist. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. I'm sinking in my chair. That it's been a long time that they've been lying to us about a lot of stuff. Apple App Store won't let you download the True Social in Canada. Says not available in your country. Face is now allowing death threats on Russians. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, but they can't allow... well, that's not disinformation, right? DC, remember Leland Yee, San Francisco senator? He voted for strict gun control laws, found out he was aiding Chinese gangsters to get guns from U.S. to Hong Kong. There isn't one good in government, not one. I know, Paul. I know. Oh, that's really it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. That is the problem. And why did Trump do zero to contain it, to get rid of it? Like I said, all he had to do is do an executive order. Now, if they found out it was non-constitutional, that's one thing, but at least people would be talking about it. Do an executive order, getting rid of what Clinton put in place, which was the media can lie and lie and lie and lie and lie and lie, and they have no culpability, no liability whatsoever. And so what do? They lie and lie and lie and lie, and they take the money from the whoever's got the fattest wad of money. That's where they take it, and that just happens to be the Rothschild-controlled banks and everybody under them and over them. You see, Trudeau's still saying there wasn't any biolabs after it was admitted there is. Yes, it was. Oh no, I don't know. I didn't hear that, but I saw the clip. It was the same woman who called under the Obama administration, called, and she basically ran a coup with the U.S. government to get rid of the president that was there and to install a Western puppet in Ukraine. What a surprise! You remember? I don't know if you remember that when that was going on. She got caught, and of course, nothing ever came of it. But it was the same one. She's now the undersecretary, secretary of state. I don't know what she's like, second in command and something like that. And she testified that yes, Ukraine has weapons, biolabs, with chemical, with bio, weapons of mass destruction, bio stuff. And Marco Rubio, who is as deep dark a hat as there is, the whole thing was actually coordinated, I think. He immediately and calmly said, but if there is a biological weapons attack, you have no, he's like leading the witness. You have no doubt in your mind that it would be Putin and Russia that are carrying out. She said, absolutely, Senator. If there's something like that, it's definitely coming from Putin. Well, Putin hasn't been in Ukraine. He hasn't. The U.S. has been in the Ukraine, the West. And she admits there's bio labs there. They didn't come from Putin. He hasn't been there. They came from us. So yeah, that was admitted. YouTube, you're going to strike me for that? It's all over your own platform where she's admitting it. Senator Rubio, look up the clip. So we have biolabs over there. And I can't think what bioweapon could be released to the public. And did it come really from there? Did the U.S. really, let's just hypothetically say something happened. So we're involved in weapons of mass destruction in a foreign country. And that's exactly why we went to Iraq, to eradicate his weapons of mass destruction, which he had none of. Remember Colin Powell before? There's another lie. Goes up to with the little vial of salt or whatever, holds it up. This is the weapon of mass destruction. It's out of Mercedes. We got a bomb on them. Yeah. And everybody believed it. We went over there and bombed the crap out of them. Millions of people died. Millions. You don't hear that on the Western TV. Civilians. Some in the West have admitted it. For what? For the military-industrial complex to get paid. That's what it was for. DCM, there's no biolabs in Ukraine. Background noise. Someone get those virus files out of here before they see them now. Oh. So our U.S. government is now on record saying they're there. Again, another conspiracy that you got to wipe off the blackboard because it became true. How come all these conspiracy theories are becoming true? Kennedy assassination on up. That's where they started. The CIA started accusing people of conspiracy theories so they wouldn't question how Kennedy was shot. Oh, as it turned out, it's the CIA that admits, oh, we knew it all along. There was a shooter in the front. At least one shooter in the front, most likely two. Was one they had the initial GHWB? I don't know. There you go, Mark. That's a great idea. We need a Jerry Springer show with politicians as contestants. And people that are awake in the audience. Handing and giving bricks and other such objects to throw. So you can put two pieces of logic together, Paulster and everybody else. Who's been in the Ukraine? Not Russia. They haven't been there to build any bioweapons labs. We have. She even said, we're worried Putin's going to get a hold of them. Yeah, because he might expose. In fact, the foreign minister from Russia said they already know. They already know. Too late. They got the information. They're going to expose what's there. And then the American media will just deny it. Just like if Trudeau just now denying it. Why not deny? None of the media is going to call him out on it. It always goes back to the media, the propaganda wing. If you can't fix propaganda, you can't fix the problem. They must have major Shiite on all these politicians, huh? Yep. And most of it, I think, is all they have to have is dangle some dollars in front of them, a lot of dollars. Is the U.S. the bloodiest nation ever? Just asking for a friend. Oh, no doubt. No doubt, Paul. No doubt. In my mind, I don't know. Maybe we could look up, and who knows if the history is true. Let's see how many people were the Roman Empire killed. Modern days, my lifetime, no question about it. None. I don't even know who would be a distant second. I really don't know. We have even killed our own people, right? I won't go to conspiracy theory about 2001. Forget about that. 3 buildings being knocked down by 2 planes, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of engineers saying it's impossible that any plane or multiple plane crashes into those will bring down any of them in their own footprint or at all. But you have the media that says otherwise. Let's go back farther. Pearl Harbor. If you don't think that was orchestrated by Roosevelt, I don't know. You're not thinking. You don't know what's going on. You haven't read the book, and I was there, by a Rear Admiral that I talked about before and showed you on Amazon. It's $100-some book now. I wonder why. It's so rare and hard to find now. And you don't even need that book. All you have to do is know history. The Japanese had no choice. None. And to me, all you need to know is, luckily, all 3 carriers were not at Pearl Harbor on the 7th. Luck. Oh, what luck. And they were spread out in 3 different directions. So if one of them was spotted, it was just one of them spotted. How about the Gulf of Tonkin accident or incident? Gulf of Tonkin incident, which Israel helped with us to manipulate, which another conspiracy theory true, was later admitted by, what's his name, McNamara. Yeah, that's what happened. It wasn't Vietnam that attacked us. Even, but this is not just what happens in the West. In World War II, Japan invaded Manchuria, and millions died there. You know why? They manufactured an incident. Like Kristallnacht in Germany. Manufactured incident. They're called false flags, which 50, 60, 70 years later now, they don't mind telling the story because everybody's dead from then. Or very few are alive to even make a wave. So you get the truth, but you get it way later. And these are the same governments that you're going to go to the polls, if you're so inclined, and vote them back in again instead of dismantling it. Oh, here we go. Who said biolabs have anything to do with bioweapons? Why? Let's ask the question. Let's get logical before I get emotional. Why would you build a biolab in Ukraine when you could build it easily in the United States, as long as you're not you can build it easily in the United States as long as you're not using it for bioweapons? Why would you go to Ukraine and build them? Let's ask a logical question. Then you deny they're there. Then you admit they're there after the evidence has been picked up by the other country. You don't need to go to Ukraine to make a biolab to see. Well, let's ask the question this way. What is the purpose of a biolab? Let's ask the internet. Let's ask Google, the trusted name in search. What is the purpose of a biolab? A laboratory for biological research. Research lab, science lab, a workplace for the conduct of scientific research. Why in the freak are you spending the money to do it over there when you could do it here? Does that make sense? It's that easy and logical. If you're doing it over there, you're hiding it. Why are you hiding it? You could easily do it here. You can have any kind of laboratory or research lab here. All you have to do is get the licenses for it. Say you're doing it. Can't have a bioweapons one here. So why do you go to Ukraine and do it? Let's wake the freak up. Less oversight, I'll say. Why does the U.S. authorize them to be done over there? They're obviously behind it. We're the ones that have been there. You think the Ukrainians are creating biolabs? Come on, man. You do stuff outside your country to hide it. Or you cordon off your own country where you can't get to it to hide it. Los Alamos, ring a bell? World War II, Manhattan Project. You don't need to go to Ukraine to do a Manhattan Project even. You can do it in the United States. It was done in the United States. Why are you doing it over there? Hello, David Crockett. Good to see you. Danny Diesel. Media has to be confused. You know how not to get confused about the media? Don't even listen to it. Except for to get whatever is wrong. Whatever they say is wrong. You can eliminate it. I don't know. There might be 2 sides to a story. There might be 20 sides to a story. But whatever one they're telling is wrong. Whether it's a 50-50 proposition or a 5% proposition. The media is giving you a narrative that the government wants you to do or whoever funds them. Let me see if I can look something up here without saying anything. Can't get this information. Hold on. Bet it's not here. Nope. I wanted to see who sponsors Good Morning America. I know who does. And I know who sponsors ABC News and NBC News and CBS News and the Sunday talk show on NBC. What is it? Meet the Press or Face the Press or Press the Face, whatever it's called. They're all. Let me look it up another way. No, I can't. I can't even talk about it. A certain company, though, that you would be, you would know because of the P, sponsors all of them. And even though they're sponsored, I mean, there might be an ad for them, but it makes no difference. It's like showing an ad for a transportation company to a dog. Nobody's gonna bite into the commercial. Big P, very good, wide awake. Very good. And before you say it's BS, Polster, or anybody else, do your homework. There are people that have done videos that shows Good Morning America, sponsored by, and then it's ABC News, sponsored by Press the Face. It's actually Face the Nation, whatever. Or Face the Press, whatever they are. Sponsored by. You got it, Danny. Satan. Pill pushers. Good way to put it. Pill pushers. Why do you think the news is 100% pro something? All you have to do is be sponsored. Oh, that's what keeps us on the air. If you don't understand that money, the love of money is the root of all evil, you're not awake. You're sleeping. Right, Sir Jesus is the only one who saves. That's true. I thought you said he's the only one who knows. They sponsor the big news outlets, and I bet you they sponsor many of the big newspapers. I bet you they do. I can't prove that. I haven't seen, but I've seen the evidence for the others. All you have to do is tune in. Good Morning America. I don't even know what day it comes on. Thank God. I guess it's on every day. At the beginning, they tell who the sponsored by Big P. Oh, a nice list of random stuff. Gave me before. Thank you for that. Have I watched the dimming documentary? I have not. I've watched Joe Biden get dim. I don't know what that is, the dimming. And where is it found? Nova, dimming the sun. The sun is the same in the relative way, but you're older. Anybody know where that comes from? Global dimming. Oh my God. Please stand by. This is funny. Since measurements began in the 1950s, scientists have discovered that there has been a decline of sunlight reaching Earth. They call it global dimming. But I thought China put this big sun reflector up in the sky. Anyway, but according to a paper published in the journal Science, the dimming did not continue into the 1990s. And indeed, since the 1980s, scientists observed a widespread brightening. You can't make this stuff up. I got to show this because where's the proof, Rich? Where's the proof? You just made that up. Oops, hold on. Well, here's a rare thing. My stomach growled. I'm hungry. That is rare. I've been working too much today. Here we go. Let me get back. I'll scroll up. This is Top Documentary Films. TopDocumentaryFilms.com/global-dimming/ for anybody who wants it. Since measurements began, this is Walter Cronkite. Since measurements began in the 1950s, scientists have discovered that there has been a decline of sunlight reaching the Earth. They call it global dimming. But according to a paper published in the journal Science, the dimming did not continue into the 1990s, and indeed, since the 1980s, scientists have observed a widespread brightening. What caused the dimming to go down, and what effect it will have, if any, on climate change. The film explores the theory that pollution is shielding the oceans from the full power of the sun and disrupting the pattern of the world's rainfall. There is evidence that dimming caused the droughts in give me a break, in sub-Saharan Africa, which claimed hundreds of thousands of lives in the 1970s and 1980s. It reveals that we may have grossly underestimated the speed at which our climate is changing. Oh, well, from what I just read, humans can change all this. At its heart is a deadly new phenomenon, one that until recently scientists refused to believe even existed. Alarmingly, the dimming continues today. What? Alarmingly, the dimming continues today in Asia, home to half the world's population, is currently under threat. Asia is. Only Asia. The dimming continues today. They just said in the same stinking article, dimming did not continue in the 1990s, and indeed since the 1980s have observed widespread brightening. So that sounds like less pollution. I swear to God, man, you can find the BS even in the same freaking article. But it's science. We got to believe it. Look, don't support me on this channel. All right. I appreciate all the people that support me. The Patreons, the people who send donations, etc. I really do. But we need to stop this global dimming. So take your money, instead of sending it to me, send it to the Paris Climate Accords. It's just too much. It's just too much. That's right. If Walter Cronkite doesn't believe it, and that's the way it was. Thursday, January 7th, 1969. This is Walter Cronkite, CBS News. Good night. Yeah, if Walter said it, it was true. Pinko Cronkite. One of the funniest things on All in the Family was when Archie Bunker, they'd be like, "Who are we going to watch on the news?" And they would always pick Cronkite because it was on the same network, CBS. And then he'd flip through and look at the TV guide. Let's watch Pinko Cronkite. It's pretty cool. That's right. The Paris Climate Accords. They want the United States to participate, and your tax money is going to go there. So you might as well send the extra. Like, we should start a website, right? Like they do for NASA. NASA doesn't $1 trillion since NASA started. 1.15 trillion at least, actually. Since NASA started, that's not enough. We need to start websites where people actually donate to give more to them and lobby their congressmen and et cetera, to up the budget for NASA. So maybe I'll come up with merchandise. Stop global dimming. Give money to the Paris Climate Accord. Paul Crane, yes, right. Humans can change this warming all by all of them dying. It's very simple. What's wrong with you, Rich? Hey, you got it, Paul. That's the answer. And you know what? You're not far off the answer they give you. That is really, all you have to do. You look at the Georgia Guidestones. You see what the goal is. Lower the world's population. They write it out. It's not a conspiracy theory. Reduce the world's population to 500 million. That's a lot of people dying. Are the 1.8 million Ukrainian refugees super spreading? Oh, good question, Danny. I hope they're following CDC guidelines. That's all I got to say. Yeah, I remember the Huntley-Brinkley report. I sure do. And the end of that broadcast is when you got Eric Seberide's analysis. Or was that on Cronkite? I can't remember. Eric Seberide's analysis. I think he was a pinko too. However, Walter was right he was against the war, the Vietnam War. So he was right on that. See, the Pinkos before, the liberals of the 1960s and 70s, the classic liberals, that's a lot different than the liberals today. They were for free speech and constitutional Bill of Rights being enforced with all people. And they're the ones that pushed, hey, if you're not given your Miranda rights when you're arrested, then you can go scot-free, which is horrible, but you got to have it. You got to go by a set of guidelines and laws that's free to the people. And if you trample on the freedoms of the people just to arrest them, that's wrong. And when you have something like that, that ensures that the police don't trample on your rights. You need the right to know that you can remain silent. It's in the Constitution. But see, they took civics out. Oh, and did you hear that Florida and DeSantis, they're trying to get civics, or they already have gotten a thing passed where they're going to teach civics again in the schools. So people understand what the Constitution is. They understand what the rights are. They understand what censorship is. They understand what's right and wrong from the Founding Fathers' point of view. Supposedly Hillary Clinton claimed to be a classic liberal. Yeah, she's claimed that, you know what? Here's the thing with her. You don't know what she is other than evil. She'll say and do anything if it's politically expedient. I've seen her change on a dime on views because she'd get more votes one way than the other. That's what you call a typical and pure hypocrite. Whatever goes with the flow to get 1% more votes, that's what she's for. Classic liberal glitch. Wow, guys, I am really, I'm brain fried. I've been doing marketing for my son's company and sprinkling in a little. I got to get back to Muscle Fest this weekend. I got a nice video coming out. It's going to be titled, I think, let me see if I have it here. How to Get Abs the Right Way. How's that? That's going to be a winner, I think. And I got to work on the shoulder program because so many people want to see that, and I want to get feedback what they think of it as well. And once that happens, and I get a little bit more stuff out there, I think I'm going to offer my service even before I have a Muscle Fast program done. I'm going to offer my services as a bodybuilding coach to all who can afford. Classic psychopath. There you go, Carbide. Yes. And what is it? What is the liar called? I actually knew one of these people. He was my boss once. Where they actually believe their own lies. What's the word? Something liar. Psychopathic. No. Schizophrenic. No. What is it? Where can I buy abs the cheap way? There you go, Eve, before. I ate an entire pizza today. I had a cheat day. And my abs will still be there tomorrow. You want to see your abs? I've shown my abs. I've shown pictures of my abs. Actually, I showed pictures of I should take more pictures because the abs I showed, I wasn't as lean as I am now. Or was a little bit ago. I'm doing a mini bulk at the moment. There you go, Mark Harris. Pathological liar. Yeah, I had a boss that was, he was a pathological liar. And we ended up getting into a dispute, a labor dispute, because he lied to me he told me my job was ending. And then he hired somebody else to take my place. And then he wouldn't let me have unemployment benefits because he said I was trying to steal his employees. And he actually did believe his own lies. He really did. Yeah, Clinton liar. I don't think the Clintons believe their own lies. I don't think so. He literally, I think if you put him on a lie detector test, he would pass it every time. And it was very evil. He was very evil because of and you know what, I didn't even, because I've never run into one before him. When when all this stuff was happening, I ended up talking to his brother who worked at the same company. I never talked to him before. And he said, "Don't you know my brother's a pathological liar?" He said, he said, "I work here." He was a loan officer. The owner was the owner of he was like a broker. In any case, I did the marketing for them. And he said, "You don't want to get messed up with my brother. He's no good. He's a pathological liar. And he doesn't believe he is. He doesn't know he is. And nothing good comes out of him." And he was absolutely correct. He said, I work here, but he said, I have nothing else to do with him. He said, "Don't believe a thing he tells you." Now, this was after I was fired, so it didn't matter. It was too late. It was the only time in my life I ever got fired. And it was for stuff that he made up in his own mind that he believed. Basically what it was is I was doing the marketing. It was telemarketing then. And I hired people. Quadrupled his leads in the first week. Anyway, at one point he said, I had a separate part of the building where the telemarketers were. And he came and said, "I'm not renewing the lease on this." So, well, I knew what that meant. There was no more job. And I said, "Well, when's that happen?" He said, "June." I was like, "Okay." So I started building my own business, knowing it was ending in June. And about May, it was going to be telemarketing. The employees that were now going to be laid off in a month, I said, "Hey, when I start this, this is going to end here. Do you want to come work with me?" I took the best people, whatever. And one of them told the boss. And the boss said, "I never told you that your job was ending here, or that I said, "Well, you said you weren't going to renew this. Where was I going to work?" "I never told you that. This isn't ending," whatever. So that was his thing when he went, and he was blocking my unemployment. So I took him to unemployment court, and I brought in everybody that worked there because he was saying I was a horrible employee. I never produced. Everybody was testing. That was the best marketer we ever had. We had more leads than we ever had, more sales than we ever had, blah, blah, blah. So it went so long because I had so many people testifying for me that it carried over to a second hearing. And at the second hearing, he knew he couldn't win on I was a horrible employee. So he switched strategies and said I was a beautiful, perfect employee, but I was stealing his people or whatever. And it was a different guy than the first time, unfortunately. But he was smart. He took the transcripts from both. And he said, "You're diametrically opposed in your views of everything." See, he lied to himself to whatever. He said, there isn't any statement here that you didn't contradict from the first time, not one. So he ruled in favor of me. But it was weird. I never want to deal with another person like that. Oh, vintage. Your ex was that? Ooh. Oh, I think you told me that before. My second ex had a lot of problems, but she didn't have that, thank God. Her issues were self-indulgence and not self-centeredness. Unbelievable self-centeredness. That was her issue. Oh, he passed away March 3rd. And how do you feel about that, vintage? Probably just nothing. Did he die with or from COVID? Sorry. Oh, you know what? The Congress couldn't. They wanted to claw back the money that they put out there for COVID. And the Democrats, they don't like clawing back money. They like to just keep spending more. And so even the Democrats split on the issue, and they had to take it out of this last spending bill. They're going to vote on it separately. So as of right now, the hospitals and all this, they may run out of COVID money. I don't know. Or incentive to test you and for you to come positive type of deal, you know. Before I will wait here in Oklahoma, if you get here, I will throw in a cup of coffee. You know, I've been off caffeine now for 2 weeks. How am I surviving? Nothing at all. So I'm not sure. Not sure. He had been sick for months, but it was lung cancer a week before he died. Oh, lung cancer, that'll do it. Probably a smoker. My mother died of lung cancer, so did my grandfather. And I probably would have too if I didn't quit. But I'll tell you one thing, if it was harmless, I'd be smoking today. Usually I just buy more ink to print more bills. Weird. Except today it's all digital, right? You feel nothing. That's what I thought, probably vintage. Yeah. Yeah, it's like if my first ex died, I wouldn't feel a thing. The second one, I'm not sure. Probably not anything. Nothing too deep anyway. And I guess it all comes down to how it ends, huh? How did everything happen in the end of the relationship? And the end of the first relationship was very fast and sudden. She cheated on me. And the second one was long and drawn out. I think I like the first way better. But again, but the second relationship was all about her, always all about her. I was going through a lot of stuff at the time, and some self-induced because of medications I was taking. I mean, they were prescribed, but I didn't realize how bad they were for me. That was part of it, but she was a big part of it too. And I didn't realize it at the time that she was a big part of it. But I did get to the point where I realized I wasn't right. I wasn't right at all. And so at one point she said, she's a psychology major. And she always wanted to go into counseling. Thank God she didn't. She'd be the worst counselor that the world ever saw. But at one point she said, I think we should go to marriage counseling. I said, I'm not against that because I realized there was issues. I said, but I need to go and get myself fixed first because I knew I was screwed up. And if I'm going to stay screwed up, how am I going to fix a marriage if I'm screwed up? I got to get myself fixed first. To me, it was logical. And she agreed. She said, okay, 2 sessions. You know, the first session you fill out forms. It's 2 sessions. And she was like, okay, now you've had your time. Let's go to together. I was like, oh my God. He cheated me with a friend of ours. Oh, that's horrible. Sorry to hear that, vintage. And it was terrible for 2 years after he left. He left us broke. Yeah, the first one left me broke. That was a bad situation, the first one. And that's why the first one did what she did, because it was a strange circumstance that was happening with my computer company. The main owner pulled out his money all at once. And so it was going to be a huge decrease in what I was making. And she was a shopper, and she couldn't stand with me economically, is what she said. She couldn't give up her shopping. Okay, there's literally no reason for a male to get married these days. Yeah. I'm with you, Paul. And we're already, I think it was, yeah, that was the worst. I couldn't believe he would leave his own children broke. Some people are just, I don't know how you can do anything against your children. I just don't. I don't get it. It's like there's got to be something wrong with their something. There's got to be something that only God can create, thing that God can eventually correct. There's a lot of bad people in this world, unfortunately. Carbide says, the love of my life cheated on me at age 18 while living at my family's home. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, so you know what's weird now? Trust me, this is not bragging, but all of a sudden, a lot of women are hitting on me. And I don't want a relationship. I just don't. I mean, I've got women in the neighborhood. Oh, I'll come over to your house and cook for you, and you know, they're like, "Oh, you're too thin. I gotta cook. Come over and cook for you, or you can come to my house." It's like, can you be a little bit more subtle than that? It's like, yeah, right. I'm too thin. Yeah, too thin. Not eating enough. But it's like, why wasn't it like this when I was a teenager? Because I've always been the introvert. Abusive and controlling. That's awful. Yeah. You know, Vintage, my second wife, she was abusive. She was abusive and controlling too. Yeah. But it was in a different, it wasn't in an overt way. It was because she was mentally messed up from her parents. Her father ignored her, and her mother was so like it's on Golden Pond, and her mother was overbearing. Jane Fonda in on Golden Pond. She had this thing with her mother when she was young. If her mother didn't like something that my ex did, when she was young, like 8, 9, 10 years old, whatever, even in the teenage years, her mother would ignore her for days at a time, like she didn't even exist, like she was a ghost. Not even a ghost. She's just crazy stuff. Oh, even before. You think? I don't even want to put that up there. I didn't look that hot as I do now. Probably. That's probably true. I was pretty dorky as a teen and skinny. And if you've seen the Muscle Fast site, you've seen me when I was in the Navy. The picture of me in the bed with the white shirt on. 6'3", 150 pounds at age 20, 21. Yeah, Vintage. I don't want to go as far as, yeah, we've talked about this before. That definitely the world revolved around her, or she wanted it to. That's a bad combination. Unless, like, we both were close to that. Now, let me ask you something, Vintage. Are you the introverted type and your ex the extroverted type? Because that's what me and my ex, except switching it around. I'm the introverted, she's the extroverted. So much you know, you guys, most of you here, you caught me after I switched to talking about flat Earth stuff and everything. When I first started Mr. Thrive and Survive 2008, whenever it was, you're very introverted. Yeah, it makes look. We there's something about that. We magnetize people like that, Vintage. And so, since we've both been through it, we know to watch for that. At least I know to watch. I'm sure you know to watch for it. But yeah, I think that personality type draws that because we need the extrovert to make the first move, so to speak. And they're probably looking for an introvert. Rich Flat is an introvert too. But I was scared to death when I first did videos, live streams, whatever. Charlie, what's the matter? You hungry? All right, I'm about done. I don't know if you could hear him squeaking back there. Carbide, I'm very introvert. I saw people suck in the real world. I'm with you. Most do. There's some decent people. And I've learned very recently to be more extroverted about stuff. I have two new friends because of that at the gym. One is someone older than me. He was in Vietnam. I told you about it. He was the one that said Coriolis is BS, total BS. Because he shot all kind of different weapons, he flew fixed wing and helos. And when I started just talking to him about what people were saying about Coriolis, he just interrupted me. He said, "It's bull BS. That's BS." He said, "It's all BS." And he's not a flat earther, but he said no. Now, see, I was never threatened, Vintage. They can control you more. What you did for years by threatening me all the time. I'm sorry to hear that. Charlie, no, he can go potty time. Eat me before if he wants. He's wanting food. He's wanting food. But he's one. I approached him. And another guy, he's from Saudi Arabia, actually. First person I've ever met, actually, I think, from Saudi Arabia. He said something to me. He asked me if I was using equipment or something. And then we just started talking. And we're going to go out to lunch soon. So I got two new friends just by doing that. But it's not my nature. It really isn't. So, guys, it's funny. We have about half to a third of what we have on the other channel. So for 2 more weeks, we're going to be here. At least I got to get the date from them to see when it is. And what bothers me about this one is they went back a couple of videos and took it down. It wasn't the latest video I did. There's been 2 or 3 since then. So you never know when they can just go back and say, okay, this is the last one right here. Your channel's gone forever. So I'm glad you guys have the backup, and I guess you guys got the notification or saw when I went live. Vintage, we talked again at some point about medical stuff, and you can't go check it because they take the video down. You can't even private. Now, I didn't get a notification that I know of, but I'll go and look. Usually they give you a link and you go back. But, we have 4-hour streams sometimes. I'm not going to listen to the whole 4 hours and say, oh, I slipped there. So we cannot talk about anything medical. We're just not going to do it at all, period. So it's taboo. It's a taboo subject on here. Charlie is ripped. Charlie is not ripped, but he needs to be. Charlie needs to lose about 15 pounds. He had a thyroid issue, though. It wasn't like all of a sudden I started feeding him more, but he started gaining weight, and then we found out he had a thyroid issue. And so anyway, now he's on thyroid medicine for that, and he has improved. His appetite's improved, which you would think is the opposite. And he had a bald spot on his tail. That's a telltale sign of thyroid issue. That's growing back. So, and it's just a little teeny bit. It's not much medicine. Facebook did that to you after a year. I see. Yeah, they are losing DCM. I'm not going to put that up there. All right, guys, I'm going to go. And we'll be back Monday. Maybe Monday. If I get time over the weekend, I'll research their scriptures. The reason why I know most people probably aren't interested in tithing or whatever, it's not a sexy subject, so to speak, but it's a subject where you can see how you are supposed to go through and pick up here a little, there a little. All right, and precept here, precept there, and put it together. And there's not much emotion usually in it. With a couple of people on the stream, it was, but most of the time, most people are like All right, you don't believe in tithing? Okay. You do believe in tithing? Okay. They're not going to be as emotional as talking about hell or some other subject that we've talked about, about the God of the Old Testament, things like that. Those are, and I understand, rightfully so, they're emotional subjects because they go back to our childhood with what we were told is true. And so I think it would be a good example. And I want to do it because it's not right that people fleece the brethren, so to speak. It's just not right. Appreciate you too, Carby. Thank you for that. Very, very nice. Nice comment. And good night, Vintage. Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody. DCM, please don't even comment on that kind of stuff. I don't even want to take the chance. They may have actually, because I've been very careful, they may have actually grabbed it from a comment. And they can. I've heard people say their channels were taken down because comments. You got the answer there, Charles. Once you discover the truth, you never relent. I like that. The MSM is just a propaganda operation used by the deep state to control us. I shut it off. That is the answer. Shut it down. Shut it off. Be aware of what they're doing and what they're saying, because if you're aware, you know what narrative is incorrect. By the way, thank you so much, too. So God bless everybody. Take care. Thanks to all the supporters. I really appreciate it. It does keep me going. And we'll be back Monday, God willing. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. This channel, remember, this channel only.